seminars, and you said your reason there was to learn more about yourself.
Yeah.
My experience has been people attend seminars, especially self-development seminars, to look for the answer. They want to know, what is it out there I can learn so that I can be more successful? That wasn't the motivation?
No, oddly enough, and I think probably you're right. I think that's what most people are looking for. I think they're looking for an answer outside of themselves. They're never going to find it. I think by this time I realized there was something in me. I met a man here in Toronto who originally got involved in studying his race gambling. And he told me if I didn't like the results I was getting in my life, that I was going to have to change me because they were my results. He said, if you're going to change you, you're going to have to find out something about yourself. And that seems to make sense. I don't think it was an earth-shattering idea. It wouldn't give anybody a brain hernia, but it made a hell of a lot of sense to make it. So I started to study myself. I found most people don't know who they are. They really don't.
What do you mean? I mean, I know my name, I know my age, I know where
Yeah, that's not
what
you.
else?
You know, that's
what
just
size?
if you ask the average person who they are, they'll give you their name. They'll say, I'm Bob Proctor, but I'm not. Bob and Proctor are two words. My parents give them to me. They're called names, but it's not me. It's my name. And some people say, well, this is me, but this isn't me either. It's my body. Like, you never phone down here to the studio and say, body won't be in today, it's sick. You know, we don't say am hand or am leg. It's my hand, my leg, my body, my name. Who am I? Well, that's an interesting question. And I believe that the person will try to study that and look for the answer, they'll find it. See, I think we live simultaneously in three planes of understanding. We're spiritual creatures. We have an intellect. We live in physical bodies. But because we lack awareness or understanding of who we are, we're totally locked into a physical world, and we let things outside of us control us. 95% of the population are reacting to life. They're not really living at all.
And would you call that one of the barriers to success?
Oh, there's no question about it. I think there's two barriers. Success is a funny word. Nightingale had a great definition for it. He said a person's successful if they know where they are, and they know where they're going, and they're progressively moving in that direction. He said that success was the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Anyone that has a goal, and they're moving towards it, they're successful. Most people think that you're successful if you have a lot of money. Quite often you have a lot of money if you're successful, but it isn't. I wouldn't say Mother Teresa has a lot of money, but she's a pretty successful lady. So it's
so that barrier to the
well, there's a couple of them. I think there's two barriers. One is our conditioning, the conditioning that takes place in our subconscious mind from the time we're infants. All we can do is act, talk to the people around us. That's why we learn the language we learn. If there was 10 languages spoken in our home, we learned 10 languages without any trouble. There's usually one, and that's the only one we ever learn. We grow older and we think, oh, I couldn't learn another language. We could learn 100 if we wanted to. You can do anything. But I think we're conditioned. We have a real strong conditioning, usually with not some very good ideas. And then that's the barrier that's inside us, the one that's outside of us is our environment. We have a tendency to act like everybody around us. And if you think about this, it does make a lot of sense. Because if you study statistics, 95% of the people live their entire life and never live the way they want to live it. You know that 95% of the population in this country, let's say North America, the richest country in the history of the world, they'll work productively, let's say for 40 of their 65 years, and they'll end up before they even run. The studies have grown. So 5% of the people end up financially comfortable and rich. No, actually, I think it's quite an exciting idea, because you see, the idea behind it is that anybody can win, anyone at all. But if we start studying these statistics, I think we'll arrive at the conclusion, geez, I better start thinking for myself rather than follow everybody. Most people, they get a job, they look around and see how everybody else is doing their work, and they start doing it the same way. They should stop and think, I wonder if any of these people know what they're doing. Is there a better way to do it?
Well, don't we have a need to fit in? I mean, you don't want to stand out, you don't want to be fired, you don't like waves.
Exactly. Just following the line, take an effort, be like everybody else. Now that'd be great in the animal kingdom. But human beings are born with that way. I mean, you should make a few errors. You should make you stand out, be different. Not for the sake of being different, but because we are different. We all have different lives. And I believe cure all my problems. I found that wasn't true. I earned a fair amount of problems or money, and I seem to have more problems. But after working at this for a few years, I decided that the real answer is get to know yourself a little better.
Okay.
And I don't think you have to go off in the Himalayas and become a guru to.
Okay. What did you do to learn about yourself? You said you went around as many seminars.
I attended seminars.
Okay.
I went and listened to different speakers who taught something about the mind. I think the answer is in our mind if we'll start studying and trying to understand our mind.
Okay. Let me get back to you if I can. What did you learn about Bob Proctor during that study?
Well, I learned that the biggest part of me you'll never see. It's non-physical. And what you see here in the physical body is nothing but the physical manifestation of the higher side of my personality. And of course that's true with you. Nancy's on the camera. It's true of everyone. And what you have to study of this is how does this non-physical part of my mind work? What happens when I think? Where do thoughts come from? How was this chair built? Somebody had to think. Thoughts are everywhere. And we pull thoughts into our mind and we build pictures or images in our mind. What we want to understand is that the non-physical side of ourselves is doing that. If I can build an image of something in my mind, I'm quite capable of building a physical replica of it in my world. So if I build an image of me as a happy, relaxed person, I can live like that. If I build an image of myself as being prosperous, I can become prosperous.
So if we think rich, we will be rich.
Absolutely. We're already rich. Just short money.
Okay, those of us that like to acquire more money and or happiness or whatever success there, those of us that want to reach the goal to be set for ourselves, we do it first by,
well, the first thing you do is sit down and decide what you want. If it's money you want, how much money? Now, nobody knows how much luck it is. So you've got to be specific. You write down on a card exactly what you want. And you carry that card around and read it often. Now, this is what I learned in this book, Think and Grow Rich. It's what I teach in the seminars. I'll teach people how to set goals. But you decide exactly what you want. And then you start to think. Now, you're going to have thoughts come to your mind of why you can't get it. You have the ability in your conscious mind to reject that idea, kick it out of your mind. Thinking of why you can't do something is never going to do you any good. And keep thinking until you start to think of something, how you can do it. And the way will be shown to you. It comes in the form of images in our mind. Think of how you can, and not why you can't.
okay. So first step is to
That's the first step.
think about how we can go about it.
Exactly. And just think of how you can. Now, I say before you get into that, you should get a good book and start to study it. Select a person who is already doing something that you'd like to do. Get to know that person. Go to the experts for advice. Don't ask the person next door, your mother, father, brother, or guy who works beside you. Because they don't necessarily know. No point in asking a person how to earn a lot of money if they're only earning $10,000 a year. They don't know. They knew they'd probably be earning a lot. It's like, don't go to a sick doctor if you want to get healthy. So you'll find someone that you can go to for advice. Get a real good book and lock into that book and start to study. Like, I bet this one looks like a Bible. But this is Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. I've been reading this thing now for 23 years. I'll probably read it for another 23 years. I get another good book that I brought over here today. It's called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. I'm not given permission for selling this, the author. Dead now, he's been gone for a couple of years. But Dr. Joseph Murphy wrote the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And that's probably one of the best books you've ever found. Because you're going to learn something about your mind when you read this book. Now, I read a lot of books. I've got probably 1,000 books sitting in my den at home in my library. But the one that I carry everywhere I go, and I read it all the time, is Think and Grow Rich. I never stop reading.
Where's the value for you to reread that? I mean, you must know enough that
I think I could probably recite it verbatim. But the secret is, I once read the book that said, when you read a good book through the second time, you don't see something in it that you didn't see before. You see something in yourself that wasn't there before. See, when I read this, I create a greater awareness. Let me just read you one line out of there, 2 lines. Joe said the missing link in all systems of education known to civilization today may be found in the bare educational institutions to teach students how to organize and use knowledge after they acquire it. You and I say that we should understand the real meaning of the word educate. It's not going to a brick-and-mortar edifice for 25 years. That's gathering information to probably develop your memory, but I would question how well you develop your mind. And I'm not against education because I encourage the children to go to school, as we know. Now, he said the word education comes from the word educate. And he says it's derived from the Latin word educate, meaning to induce, to drive, or to develop from within. An educated person is not necessarily one who has an abundance of general or specialized knowledge. An educated person is one who has so developed the faculties of their mind that they may acquire anything they want or its equivalent without violating the rights of others. An educated person is the one that knows how to go and get what they want out of life without being selfish.
In sense, a researcher, somebody who knows what they're looking for and knows how to go about finding.
Well, I think we should forever be involved in research because learning is a lifelong process. You never stop learning. Education means to draw from within. We're drawing on an infinite source. We've got deep reservoirs of talent and ability within us. We can learn to do anything. We have phenomenal
I was left to
powers.
sit and watch her take.
If we used our
And about
body
that
like we
time,
used our mind, we'd probably just move
all I
our
can
little
remember seeing is
finger.
people just scattering in different places. And running and running and running. And I was left so shifty.
Kids in school, shouldn't before the school year ever starts, to sit down, they should be given a blank report card and get them to visualize the marks they want to get and write what they're going to do. Just before school starts, that's what we can school. And then the teacher should say, now I want you to concentrate on how to get that mark. And then we're going to work on that. And I want you to want that that you're going to get. Now some people say that's not realistic. That's been very realistic. That's following the success principle that go back 6,000 years before the history. That's how everything was done.
That's why they daydream.
No. Well, that's where all great strength, not great strength. See, I would love to make every case that life has been put aside. They kept fantasizing when he doesn't into a theory, when he doesn't into an image, when he doesn't into a fact. I mean, when I was a kid, it was a fantasy because you wanted to dream. Even up there with the powers. Oh, no.
You mentioned that the success principle I recognize it difficult because you can't get a winning in a relationship. That's the toughest thing is managing people. You really do that.
That's right.
It's almost one thing in managing your body down. You can't change people.
Well, how do you change that person's attitude? Any attitude can change their mind. You see, the management of the idea is their attitude. We can't work about it and then have to do anything about it. But if management arises in the world, yes, it is attitude. People say that attitude. That's because of something about themselves. Yes, think that they're
I felt nothing.
something that they're
I felt nothing.
is the greatest resource
I
we've
felt
got.
nothing. I felt nothing. I felt nothing.
65% of the dollar that comes into
I felt nothing. I felt nothing. I felt nothing. I felt nothing.
Okay, so your suggestion is we develop a winning attitude.
Absolutely.
Can you define what is a win?
Well, if we can understand in digress perspective, the whole universe operates by laws, and there's a law of opposites. It's called the law of polarity. Everything has its opposite. There's a right and a left side. There's a front and back, up and down, hot and cold, positive and negative, yin and yang. Well, you can think negative or you can think positive. You can't think both at the same time. You're only going to think one image in our
with
mind of
instructions
ourselves. And it's called a
to kill everyone
self-image.
in the house.
From Charlie.
Yeah.
Too many people don't know much about themselves, and so they don't have a very good image of themselves. And you'll often notice that people will shy away from you. They won't look you in the eye. They'll look down or look up. They'll never try to do anything of any great consequence because they don't think they can. They have a poor self-image.
Part of that is because through school we're told that we don't do sales here, we have no grades.
That could be part of it. Yeah. I think there's been a great disservice done with the IQ test in that respect to bringing out of school. Rene, the French guy on the 20th century, invented the IQ test. He brought it over from Stanford over here, and we'll test the person's intellect, and then we'll brand them good, bad, smart, not. And that's not true. We can change IQ by changing self-image. But yeah, you were told you're not very good, you just look your dad, you're a bum, you're never going to do well, you did good school, you can't win. Well, that's all true. That's all false. We can do anything, and we should be encouraging each other, give a pat on the back rather than that.
What can we do? Members of our viewing audience right now, most of us walk around with some degree of self-image. Is that fair to say?
We all have a self-image.
Okay, would you say most of us have a negative self-image or something different?
Well, let's say we can all improve our self-image. I don't care how good your image is, you can improve it.
Okay, how can we improve? Tell me specific. How can we go about making our self-image more positive?
Well, again, you get into a whole day seminar, but I can give you just a simple tip on it. If a person would sit down and let their body relax, totally relax, and then start to visualize in their mind, see themselves the way they want to see themselves.
Which may take a good deal of thought.
Well, you relax, yeah.
I mean, in terms of how we want to see ourselves. Maybe we don't know where we come from.
Relate it to something specific.
Something we admire, maybe, or
Possibly.
somewhere we'd like to see ourselves down the road.
Yeah. See how you'd like to live your life. See yourself living it that way. Now, understand that that's a picture in your mind. When you pick up a book, the book is nothing but a picture that an author has painted in words. Van Gogh, the great artist, was asked one time how he did such beautiful work. He said, I dream my painting, and then I paint my dream. We get a picture of the mind, and then paint it on the wall, or on the canvas. Well, if we would relax, build the image in our mind of how we'd like to see ourselves. How we'd like to see ourselves acting in life, relating to other people, our social life. See ourselves in the position we hold, or how we make our sales presentations if we happen to be in selling or something. And then take that picture and describe it, write it out in the present tense. I am so happy now that I see myself, and write it out. Now, a lot of people will laugh at this and say, that doesn't make any sense. It makes a lot of sense. They can't tell you why it doesn't. I could spend hours telling you why it does, and I can explain it in such detail that everyone would understand it. But write out a description of how you'd like to see yourself. Start to read it, and read it, and read it, and read it every day. Carry it around, keep reading it. The one point that all the great teachers, all down through history, have all agreed on, they've been complete unanimous agreement, we become what we think about it. Now, maybe fantasy at first, it might even appear to us as being a lie. But if you read it often enough, you'll start to believe it. And when William James said, believe and your belief will create the fact, you will see the person's personality change. I watch people in the seminars' personality change right in front of my eyes. And all they're doing is starting to see themselves differently, starting to think differently.
So our thoughts control our actions.
Oh, there's no question about it. No. Our thoughts control our feelings. Our feelings control our actions.
And we control our thoughts.
Absolutely.
We can control
our thoughts, yes.
Generally, though, one of our difficulties, one of our problems maybe is that we tend to react to other people will tell us. And we consequently get the negative thought. And then that affects our feelings, and then that affects our feelings.
That's right. That's exactly the way it is. We read the newspaper. Doom and gloom. We just accept it. Doom and gloom doesn't have to be coming. You know, there's always been a depression for some people. I grew up with the idea that everybody went broke in the 30s. They didn't. Some made millions. I thought everybody went out of business. They didn't. Some people went into business. There's always a depression for some people, and there's always good times. study. Let's ask ourselves when we read something in the paper, do I want to get emotionally involved in that idea? If it's a negative idea, I don't want to get emotionally involved with it. I don't read the paper that often. I do, but no, I don't dwell on it.
Emotionally involved with it.
When an idea comes into your mind, whether it's somebody else tells you or whether you read it in the paper, we should reasonably ask ourselves, will that idea help me get to where I want to go? If it won't, reject the idea.